In 1972, Lieutenant Richland arrives by helicopter at a secret military base on the Caribbean island known as Shark's Tooth. He is greeted by Second Lieutenant Thomas Pennington, who has called him to show him the U.S. Army's latest experiment. Arriving at the underground base, Richland meets Dr. Bishop, the project leader, who introduces him to his new creation, a hybrid of a shark and a dolphin. The creature is kept trapped in a tank and, to show off its abilities, the doctor dumps mannequins with a light alarm attached to their clothes. Being sensitive to sound and electrical stimuli, the creature locates the mannequin and destroys it in a few seconds. After this presentation, Thomas says that he needs the support of the American government to produce more hybrids, thus creating an unbeatable army. However, before Richland can respond, the hybrid tries to escape by pressing on the tank's door. The soldiers quickly grab their stun guns to stop it, but the hybrid drags everyone into the tank and devours them one by one. The lieutenant then orders the creature to be eliminated, but Dr. Bishop tries to stop him and ends up falling into the tank. Without hesitation, the creature devours its creator and then flees into the sea. Luckily, the exit of the tunnel was equipped with a huge iron cage and, before the hybrid shark escapes, Thomas locks it inside. Finally, he attaches the cage to his ship and sets off into the middle of the sea, where he prepares to finish off the monster with his gun. However, for some mysterious reason, the second lieutenant refuses to shoot and releases the cage, which travels aimlessly at sea. Decades later, Dr. Simon Chase, head of the Shark Protection Institute, is on his ship checking for predators in the region. With the help of his assistant, Tall Man, he discovers on radar that a female great white shark is trapped nearby. Following her trail, Doctor finds the boat of sailor Ben Madiera, who is taking fishermen out to hunt sharks on the high seas. Enraged, Dr. Simon jumps into the water, wearing only his diving goggles, and frees the female, who was trapped by the fishing line. Thanks to this, she can swim free again, and Simon warns Ben and his fishermen to stay away from the sharks. After this, he and Tall Man continue to monitor the sea. When they pass close to the ship of Puckett, an explorer on the island, he and his girlfriend are searching for hidden treasures in the water when suddenly the ship's hook gets caught on something. As soon as they crank up the hook, the couple find a huge iron cage with the lid open. They have no idea that they have freed the hybrid shark which, after years of being trapped, is heading out to sea in search of its next meal. Meanwhile, Sailor Ben ignores Dr. Simon's warnings and asks his helper, Bobby, to throw meat into the sea. He hopes to attract sharks to continue fishing, but the young man ends up dropping his headset into the water. Ben gets angry and tries to finish the job himself, but as soon as he stretches out his arm, the hybrid shark pulls him into the sea and devours him in front of everyone. Far away, Simon and Tall Man rush to the port, where they meet Max, the doctor's son, and Dr. Amanda, his ex-wife. Amanda says that she has found a lost sea lion, which she has named Robin, and that she is helping it to adapt to the sea before she can release it. She and Simon follow the conversation until they see a strange man appear in a boat, known in the village as the werewolf. No one knows his real identity, but Amanda finds him very suspicious and tells her son to stay close. However, the young man wants to get to know the island and goes rollerblading into town, where he meets a group of young people led by Chemo. Max is delighted to see Elizabeth, the daughter of the police chief, Gibson, but Chemo tells him that he will only be part of the group if he accepts the challenge of jumping off the mountain into the sea. Not knowing what their son is getting into, Simon and Amanda go into town to do some shopping. At the same moment, Chief Gibson goes to meet the doctor and orders him to accompany him, as the body of Sailor Ben has been found near the coast. When he gets there, the policeman tells him that the wounds on the victim's body indicate that he was attacked by a great white shark. Simon says that this is not a common behavior of the species, but Gibson is convinced that Ben has been eliminated by the predator and will not rest until he is captured. Seeing that they won't be able to convince him otherwise, Simon and Amanda return to the ship and head towards the Shark Protection Institute. It is then revealed that the institute is on Shark's Tooth Island, the same place that served as a secret military base for Dr. Bishop's experiments. Unaware of this, Simon bought the facility from the government and turned it into a research center for marine animals. While getting to know the place, Amanda finds Simon's desk full of family photos. Shortly afterwards, Tall Man appears and tells Amanda that, although he has worked with Simon for years, he doesn't usually talk about his personal life. The doctor then reveals that the two shared the same love of marine life, but that everything changed after Simon's brother Brian lost his life to cancer. Simon believes that sharks' resistance to the disease could be the key to finding a cure and has since dedicated his entire life to studying them. While the two of them continue talking, Dr. Simon finishes repairing the compression chamber, which could help him in his scientific projects. Back on the island, Max goes with the group to the mountain, where he has to prove his courage by jumping into the sea. Chemo tells him to jump off a heavy rock and that the challenge is to stay underwater for as long as possible. To show the young man how it's done, Chemo jumps first, with Max following soon after, ready to take on the challenge. However, the young man despairs when the hybrid shark appears on the scene and, within seconds, attacks Chemo and leaves him seriously injured. The rest of the group is horrified and Max thinks he has seen a great white shark, but when he looks closely, he realizes that the creature's body is unlike anything he has ever seen. Luckily, the young man manages to escape in time and, together with Elizabeth and the rest of the group, they go to tell the police what happened. Hours later, Amanda and Simon find out what happened and go to check on their son. The two are relieved to hear that Max is okay, but Chief Gibson shows up and again claims that it was a great white shark that attacked the youngsters. To prove his point, one of his policemen shows him the tooth he found in Chemo's body, which looks very much like that of a shark. This only makes the people of the island even angrier and Simon fears that very soon they will be attacking all the sharks in the area. The doctor then decides to take the tooth to the institute for analysis and calls Amanda to help him rescue the sharks before they are captured. As soon as they reach the sea, Simon observes the tooth found in the victim's body and realizes that it has a root, something unusual in white sharks. Amanda also finds this strange, but Tall Man soon interrupts the conversation, saying that the radar has located the female shark. Shortly afterwards, another sea creature is identified, but it is much larger and quickly advances towards the female. Simon orders Tall Man to go to her, but everyone is surprised when the monster appears before them. The creature tries to climb onto the ship, but in one swift movement, the doctor pulls out his machete and cuts off one of its fangs, forcing the monster to retreat. The next morning, Dr. Simon decides to take the piece of teeth to the police, proving that the monster is not a great white shark. However, when he arrives at the port, he finds Puckett displaying the body of the female shark and telling everyone that he has eliminated the monster from the island. The doctor tries to debunk the whole farce, telling Chief Gibson that the real culprit of those attacks is on the loose and the shark was just another one of his victims. However, the policeman doesn't believe him and congratulates Puckett on saving the island. Shortly afterwards, the hoaxer goes to celebrate his victory in a bar, while Simon, Amanda and Max try to get in touch with the Navy. As soon as he manages to call Washington, the doctor tells him about what happened and that his institute is located on Shark's Tooth Island. On hearing this, the naval officer passes the information on to none other than Richland, now an Army admiral. Seeing that the matter concerns the failed hybrid shark project, Richland contacts Simon and says he will take care of it personally. However, he warns the doctor to keep everything secret and not to go after the creature under any circumstances. Even so, Simon suspects that Richland is hiding something and decides to return to the institute in search of answers. When he arrives at the site, the doctor realizes that he has been followed by Werewolf, who appears in his boat. The guy starts acting strangely, saying that everything that happened was his fault, and then he pulls out a horn and blows it, making noise everywhere. Not satisfied with this, the guy jumps into the water with his horn in his hand, as if he were trying to lure something or someone towards him. At that moment, Simon realizes that the creature is approaching and quickly pulls Werewolf to shore, saving his life. After this, the doctor takes Werewolf to the laboratory and, at first, he refuses to enter, as if he already knew the place. Even so, Simon and the others convince him to rest, but this only raises the suspicion that Werewolf has something to do with the secret base and the hybrid shark. He needs to discover this connection as soon as possible, because far away, Admiral Richland and his team are preparing to go to Sharktooth Island. Their goal is to eliminate the creature and destroy any evidence of the government's involvement with the late Dr. Bishop's project. Another day passes and Puckett takes advantage of his fame in the village to hunt for more treasure and great white sharks. During the search, he notices that one of his traps, in the shape of a cage, has been destroyed and suspects that Dr. Simon has done this to disrupt his plans. In another part of the sea, Simon and Tall Man travel by boat in search of the hybrid shark, but instead find more destroyed traps. They soon recognize that they were made by Puckett, but Tall Man notices that the cages have not been broken, but dismantled. At the same time, the doctor observes the mark left by the monster on his boat and notices that it has thumb-like claws. Apparently, as well as the intelligence of a dolphin and the hunting instinct of a shark, the creature also has human traits. With these discoveries, Simon, Max and Amanda return to the institute, when they find Werewolf banging on a gate using an iron bar. The guy seems to know something is hidden inside and, with the doctor's help, the two open the passage, which leads to a secret tunnel. Afterwards, Simon and Amanda head through the tunnel and find a flooded bunker where an underground laboratory has been built. According to the documents inside, the lab belonged to Dr. Bishop, containing various details about his experiments involving the mixing of species. In the midst of this, the two find a glass jar containing an unknown being. However, before they can open it, the hybrid shark emerges from the water and, with a swipe of its claws, hits Amanda's shoulder, leaving her seriously injured. Fortunately, Chase manages to pull her out before the monster attacks again, and the two of them run up the stairs towards the exit. The creature goes after them, but when it comes out of the water, it can't breathe and falls to the ground, without the strength to continue. Seconds later, Max appears in the tunnel and helps Simon take his mother back, when they notice that the monster is undergoing a transformation. In just a few seconds, the hybrid shark is able to stand up and breathe out of the water, demonstrating an incredible ability to adapt. As soon as his transformation is complete, the monster sets off again in pursuit of his prey, with Max, Amanda and Simon managing to escape at the last second. With everyone out of the tunnel, Werewolf helps to lock the gates, but he warns that this won't be enough to stop the hybrid shark. After this confrontation, Dr. Simon rushes back to town to take Amanda to a doctor. The doctor is still tormented by the sight of the hybrid shark, but she says that the wound on her shoulder is proof enough to show everyone that the monster on the island is real. After the long journey back, Simon carries Amanda, but Max ends up slipping off the pier and falling straight into the water. His parents quickly help him up, just as the hybrid shark reappears, having easily escaped from the institute. Seeing that the threat is greater than they thought, the next morning Simon decides to send Max back to his grandfather's house. The young man doesn't like the idea, as he wants to stay to help his parents and be close to Elizabeth, but Amanda insists that he won't be safe on the island. While Amanda takes her son to the airport, Simon prepares his ship to go after the hybrid shark. Suddenly, Puckett appears and says he already knows about the monster on the island, but that he will be responsible for hunting it down, gaining even more fame and prestige on the island. Simon doesn't mind, and, as soon as Amanda returns, the two of them, along with Tall Man and Werewolf, set off in search of the creature. At the same time, Puckett rushes to find the monster first, when he realizes that more of his sea traps have been mysteriously destroyed. Donning his diving suit, he sets off to see what has happened and finds a submerged vessel with the name Liana Dane. As he explores the site, he finally finds the trap, which was stuck to the underside of the ship. As the cage is empty, Puckett decides to return to his boat, only to see the hybrid shark coming towards him and devouring him completely. Meanwhile, Simon and his group return to the institute, where they find soldiers taking over the place, led by Admiral Richland. He warns them that he will take over the shark hunt from now on and won't need Simon's services. The two start an argument, and Werewolf, who is watching everything from a hiding place, sees the Admiral, and this awakens memories of the past. The guy tries to leave without anyone noticing, but runs into the Admiral himself, who soon recognizes him as Lieutenant Thomas Pennington. He holds him responsible for everything that is happening and tells him to keep what he knows secret, or he will suffer serious consequences. Far away, Max is about to board the plane back home when he receives a visit from Elizabeth. The young woman asks for his help in finding her missing cousin, Alana, as she fears she has been captured by the island monster. Without thinking twice, Max gives up the trip and the two take a shortcut through the old factory, which leads to a swamp where Alana was last seen. Once there, the young woman is startled to see a body floating in the water and discovers that it belongs to Puckett, who was eliminated by the hybrid shark. The two run away scared, but end up heading straight for the monster, which was hiding on the outskirts of the swamp. Max and Elizabeth run once again, with the girl leading them to the house of Tana, Tall Man's wife, which is near the swamp. Back at the secret base, Admiral Richland sends his soldiers to explore the tunnel where Dr. Bishop's laboratory is located. Transmitting everything via cameras, they set off in search of the hybrid, but find it nowhere. With their path secure, Chase and Amanda go to Dr. Bishop's lab in search of more evidence. The two find the scientist's diary, indicating that the experiments with sharks were not only for military purposes, but also to find a cure for cancer. Simon decides to take the diary with him, as this could be the chance to put an end to the disease that took his brother's life. However, Richland takes the notebook back and starts tearing it up, as it is confidential information and will leave no evidence that could incriminate the US Navy. Meanwhile, Max and Elizabeth finally arrive at Tana's house and warn her that the island monster is after them. Even though she doesn't believe the story, she shelters them in her house and tries to talk to Chief Gibson and Tall Man to warn them about it. As soon as they discover that their son is still on the island, Simon and Amanda return to the ship and try to reach Max on the communicator. However, when Tana goes to answer the call, the hybrid shark crosses the floor of her house and sets out to attack her, along with Max and Elizabeth. Hearing the screams through the communicator, Simon tries to send a message to Max, telling him to turn on all the electronic devices in the house. Just as Thomas had explained in the past, the creature is attracted to sounds and electrical stimuli. However, all Simon hears is the screams of the three of them inside the house, trying to escape the fury of the hybrid shark. Desperate, the doctor jumps off the ship, armed with a harpoon, and rushes to Tana's house. When he gets there, he finds the place destroyed and no sign of anyone. Amanda despairs, fearing that the worst has happened to her son, but from inside the roof, Max appears, revealing that he has managed to turn on the electronic devices, leaving the shark bewildered. Thanks to his father's help, the monster has escaped and Tana and Elizabeth are safe. Even so, the hybrid shark is still on the loose and it's only a matter of time before it attacks more residents. The group then goes to tell Chief Gibson about what happened and, when he sees his daughter panicking about what has happened, he finally believes Simon's words. Max also informs them that he has found Puckett's body in the swamp and that they need to send reinforcements to stop the monster once and for all. Just then, Richland appears and, after hearing the whole story, he orders his men to go to the swamp. Simon, however, knows that the Admiral intends to cover up the whole story and decides to go along, taking his camera to record all the evidence about the hybrid shark. Before leaving, Amanda confronts him because she fears things will end badly and she doesn't want to lose him again. The doctor promises that this won't happen and the couple finally reconcile after so many years apart. However, the moment is interrupted when Simon sees the files that Amanda has recovered from the laboratory. In one of them, the doctor finds a photo of the scientist next to Thomas Pennington. Simon soon realizes that this is Werewolf, which explains his strange relationship with the secret base and the monster on the island. The doctor then rushes to the swamp, where he finds Admiral Richland and Chief Gibson scouring the area. Just as Max had said, they find Puckett's body in the water, next to the Liana Dane ship sign. Simon knows where the ship is sunk and suspects that the hybrid shark has a hiding place there. In the meantime, Amanda is on the ship, taking another look at Dr. Bishop's notes. To her horror, she discovers that, despite being a hybrid, the creature was developed with the ability to reproduce. This way, if the monster finds a female white shark, it can give birth to other beings of its species. If this happens, the whole island will be infested with monsters and any chance of survival will be lost. She needs to warn Simon, who is now with Richland's group, looking for the hybrid shark. However, the monster proves to be more cunning and, using the pools of water to camouflage itself, it begins to pull the soldiers under and devours them, one after the other. Chief Gibson is also captured by the creature, but Simon manages to pull him back in time. The doctor then asks Richland to tell everyone to get out of there, but before he can, the Admiral is attacked by the hybrid shark. The soldier unloads his ammunition at the monster, but it's no use and he becomes another victim of the monster he helped create. As the only survivors of this confrontation, Simon and Gibson return to the city to meet Amanda and the others. As soon as he leaves the police chief with Elizabeth, the doctor decides to return to the institute, taking gas cylinders with him. Seeing that the monster cannot be eliminated by ordinary means, Simon intends to set a trap using the decompression chamber. Arriving at the institute, Amanda realizes what Simon is going to do and tries to stop him, but he is determined to take his chances. She then encounters Werewolf and confronts him, saying she knows who he really is and finally asks why he didn't eliminate the monster when he had the chance. In the midst of his mental confusion, he replies that the hybrid was not only made with shark and dolphin genes, but also with his blood. Thanks to this, the hybrid has human traits and Thomas has been unable to destroy it because he sees it as a part of himself. Now that the truth has come out, Simon is even more determined to put an end to the monster. Amanda then suggests enlisting Robin's help to locate the creature and attaches a camera to its body. After that, the two set off to find the ship Liana Dane, where Puckett was attacked. With the help of the sea lion, they locate a tunnel near the ship, which leads straight to the institute, explaining how the creature managed to get in undetected. Simon fears that the monster will return to the institute, where Max, Tall Man and Werewolf await his return. He then sets off with the ship at full speed and tells Amanda to call Robin back. Unfortunately, the sea lion doesn't make it back in time and the last sight shown on camera is of the hybrid shark devouring the poor animal. Amanda regrets losing Robin in this way and Simon rushes back to base before the monster causes any more casualties. Meanwhile, Tall Man hears a noise coming from the tunnel and prepares his weapon to confront the monster. Max offers to help him, but instead Werewolf decides to accompany Tall Man and the two then make their way to the underground laboratory. On arriving at the scene, the two encounter the hybrid, which is devouring what's left of Robin. Tall Man then aims his gun and pulls the trigger, but the monster manages to dodge and hides in the middle of the flooded laboratory. Seconds later, the shark appears behind Tall Man and knocks him to the ground, causing him to lose his gun. Werewolf then picks up the gun, but on seeing the creature, he once again hesitates and fails to fire. Minutes later, Simon arrives at the institute and, hearing noises coming from the tunnel, runs to help his friends. He comes across Tall Man, about to be eliminated by the monster, and throws the flashlight to distract him. Werewolf then pulls out the same light alarm he used to train the hybrid shark and lures it away from Simon and Tall Man. Thanks to this, the doctor leads his helper out of the tunnel, followed by Werewolf, who is about to close the gate. However, Simon stops him, because he wants the shark to follow him towards the decompression chamber. With that, Werewolf continues to draw the creature's attention, but to his misfortune, the alarm stops working. Enraged, the monster sets off towards Max, Amanda and Tall Man, but Simon catches his eye and challenges him to a direct confrontation. Using an iron bar, the doctor tries to attack the creature, but his blows are useless and he easily knocks it to the ground. Max then activates a mechanical hook, taking Simon safely away from the monster. At the same time, the rest of the group finishes activating the decompression chamber and Simon, with Werewolf's help, tries to lure the monster into it. The plan works, but the two are trapped in the chamber, with the monster blocking the only way out. In an act of sacrifice, Werewolf diverts the hybrid shark's attention, while Simon manages to escape out of the chamber. Unfortunately, Werewolf is devoured by the shark, but this gives Simon time to close the door and then he triggers the decompression. The doctor then breaks the door window, causing all the pressure to escape through the passage, causing a reaction that leaves the hybrid shark in pieces. Finally, the island monster has been eliminated and Simon, along with his family, can return home, knowing that the sea is safe again. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.